Good morning, Year 5. It's Friday, which means it is time for our next reading comprehension lesson, focusing on the skill of being able to distinguish between facts and opinions. Yesterday we introduced it, which is what a fact means and also what an opinion is. And today we're going to have a little go at actually making that identification of the two and be able to spot the differences, and think about also why an author might actually use a mixture of facts and opinions in a piece of text. So we're going to get straight into the text in a moment and have a go at that, and then we're going to move on at the end to the next part of the chapter. I nearly shaved myself to death, obviously. Right, here we go. Okay, so facts and opinions. Can you think back to yesterday? What is a fact? And similarly, what is an opinion? Just pause for a moment if you need to. Have that discussion with somebody with you. Hopefully you can remember a fact is something that can be proven to be true. It's not about what people think. It is something that can be proven to be true. Whereas an opinion is what somebody thinks. It might not necessarily be right or wrong. It can't necessarily be proven. It's quite different to a fact. So we're going to have a look at some bits of text today and see if we can actually work out which parts are facts and which parts are opinions. So, as I said, we are focusing on facts and opinions. So within our Year 5 objectives, it's all about explaining the impact this has on the reader and understanding the vocabulary that a reader chooses. A writer chooses. So here is the text. I'm not going to read the text all out again, and I realise it's quite small this time, but that's not a problem because we don't need to zoom in on it currently. But why do you think this author, so the author that wrote the piece on Jupiter, has chosen to use a mixture of facts and opinions in their writing? There must be a reason for it. Thinking about the effect it has on us as the reader. Again, have a pause of the video and you can have that discussion. But primarily the reason being, and obviously the facts are in there to educate the reader about the subject of Jupiter. And then the opinions are in there to almost to sort of add additional information, add more of the reasons as to why Jupiter is interesting, and to really sort of almost exaggerate how amazing the facts are in order to engage the reader. I mean, if the opinions were not there, it would just be a list of facts, which might not be very interesting to read. And if the opinions were sort of so-so, like, oh yeah, that's okay, that's not really going to be engaging the reader. But by putting in opinions such as that really is a substantial distance, or these facts about the planet Jupiter are the facts for you, or Jupiter is gargantuan, new vocabulary. It makes it more interesting to read and more engaging. So the point of the facts is to educate, and the opinions is to help to make the writing more engaging and also to spark discussion as well. So, if a piece of writing doesn't make you come up with questions or things to discuss, then maybe that piece of writing isn't as great as it could be, because we want it to engage as well. So I mentioned explanation already, so I'm just going to skip on to this bit. Right, I'm going to show you a line from the text. I want you to shout at the screen whether you think the text line is a fact or opinion. So the first one, I'll just scroll down a bit here, is this line here. But this description really doesn't do it justice. Is that a fact? Can that be proven? Or is it opinion? Is it what somebody thinks? So 3, 2, 1, shout at the screen. Think I can hear you shouting opinion, which is good because that's what it is. So I'm going to put it over here. You can't prove it to be true. It is just what somebody thinks about the description. So it goes on the opinion side. Right, this one. 90% of the atmosphere of Jupiter, a huge proportion, is made of hydrogen. Right, shout. Is that a fact? Can that be proven? Or is that an opinion? Do people think 90%? Do they think maybe it's made of something else, not just hydrogen? Just shout at screen. 3, 2, 1, go. Yes, I heard you that time. It is a fact. 90% of the atmosphere of Jupiter is made of hydrogen. Now, there is argument for the bit in the middle where it says a huge proportion, somebody might think that 90% is not a large proportion, but when that's nearly 100%, I don't think that's really up for debate. So we're going to keep that as a fact. Now, next one. It is mind-blowing to consider how diverse these moons can be when they're all orbiting the same planet. Mind-blowing. Is that a fact? Can we prove that it's mind-blowing? Or is it an opinion? 3, 2, 1, shout! Yes, it is an opinion. Okay, someone else might not think it is mind-blowing. They might just think, oh yeah, that's fairly interesting. Yeah, okay. And they might have another piece of information that is mind-blowing in their opinion. Right, last one I want to do. Amazingly, it is 778 million kilometers away from the sun. This one is here to try and catch us out. I should warn you. 3, 2, 1, fact or opinion, shout! Now, I had a bit of both that time. The reason why I think is because there's two parts to this sentence in a way. It says it is 778 million kilometers away from the sun. Now, we can prove that. Probably not right in this moment in time, but the astrologers, the scientists can do these things. So they have the technology and understanding to be able to do so. So for that reason, it's a fact. Now, the word amazingly is the word that kind of throws a spanner into the works with this particular one, because amazingly is an opinion. Somebody might think, yeah, that is amazing. Someone else might disagree and think, actually, yeah, it is interesting, but I wouldn't go as far as amazing. So I'm going to go with fact, because the core of the sentence is about the distance from the sun. However, there is debate due to the word amazingly, just to keep us on our toes. And some people might just play it safe and put that in the middle and say, actually, it's got elements of both, which I fully understand. Right. Now, let's have a look at this one. Can we explain our choice? Unlike Earth, Jupiter takes 4,383 days, which is equivalent to 12 Earth years of 365.25 days to orbit the Sun. Now, is that a fact or opinion? When we're explaining, we need to give a reason for our answer, for our ideas. So I would be wanting you to say something like, it is a fact because, and then give you a reason for it being a fact, or it is an opinion because, and then after because, give your reason to structure your explanation. Pause it, write it down, discuss it, have a go. What I'd be hoping to see from you on this one is this sentence fact or opinion? It is a fact because the information in the sentence can be proven. Okay, so hopefully we're starting to now be able to distinguish between facts and opinions in order to further understand the text and the reasons that authors make some of the choices that they do. Now, before we finish, we're going to read a little bit more of the chapter from Cosmic, as I mentioned earlier, and then tomorrow we will have another go at trying to identify facts and opinions within the text about Jupiter. Okay, so here we go. Dad also gave me his old mobile phone, so that if he ever lost me again, like in Enchantment Land, he would be able to find me. His phone's got Drax World on it. In case you don't know, that's this cosmic application that shows you your present location, directions to anywhere from anywhere, and also live satellite photographs of anything in the world. You can use it to look at volcanoes erupting, tidal waves, forest fires, anything. Dad uses it to make sure the traffic is flowing smoothly on the bypass. That first day at Waterloo High, I was on Drax World all the way to school on the 61. I use it to look at theme parks and thrill rides. I found Oblivion at Alton Towers, Space Mountain in Euro Disney, The Terror in Camelot, Thunder Dolphin, Air, all of them. As the bus was crawling along Waterloo Road, I typed in Waterloo, wondering if I'd be able to get a satellite view of me on the bus. Instead, the screen filled up with 10,000 options. There were Waterloos everywhere. Waterloo Station in London, Waterloo, the port in Sierra Leone, Waterloo in Belgium. You could go around the whole planet just jumping from Waterloo to Waterloo. I found Waterloos with waterfalls, Waterloos in the jungle, Waterloos in snowy mountains, and Waterloos with sandy white beaches. I couldn't figure out why anyone who wanted to live in a Waterloo would think, yeah, Waterloo. But not the one with the big beach or the one in the limitless white wastes of Siberia. No, the one with the flyover, handy for the new Strand shopping centre. Drax World gives you directions to anywhere, so it's not like it would be hard. If you're a proper grown-up, and not just a stubbly boy, if you were my dad, for instance, all you'd have to do is fill your car with petrol, turn left, turn right, go straight on. The next thing you know, white beaches, snowy mountains, coral reefs. Truly, grown-upness is wasted on grown-ups. When I got to school, Mrs. Sass, that's the head, saw me in reception and said, "Ah, Tom." "Liam?" "Yes, of course. I'm Lorraine. Come this way." I remember thinking, fancy her telling me her first name. Isn't that friendly? Mrs. Kendall never told us her first name when we were in Joan of Arc Primary. So Lorraine took me off to the staff room and started telling me the names of all the teachers. They all shook hands with me and said they were pleased to meet me. I was thinking, what a polite school. I wonder if they do this to every new kid. It must take ages. Then Lorraine said, "Everybody, this is Tom. Sorry, Liam Middleton, our new head of media studies." And she was pointing at me. I know I should have put her right there and then, but someone gave me a mug of coffee and a custard cream and sat me down in a nice big easy chair, so I thought, I'll tell her later when I've eaten my biscuit. Then Lorraine said, "We've got assembly this morning. I'll bring you up onto the stage and introduce you to the whole school. Do you have anything you'd like me to say about you, like what football team you support or any special interests?" I suppose that would have been a good time to say, "Very interestingly, I'm not a teacher. I'm a year 7. But she just seemed so happy. So I said, "I like massively multiplayer online computer games." She looked a bit blank. You know, like World of Warcraft, where you have an avatar and your avatar has skills and goes on quests. "Ah," said Lorraine, "skills. We are great believers in promoting skills here at Waterloo High." "I've got a lot of skills," I said. "Of course, some of them aren't that useful in real life, like dragon taming. Some of them are illegal, like knife throwing. I think that's illegal." "I think it probably is," she said. "I did try to persuade the head of my last school to start a World of Warcraft club, but she just looked at me like I was an idiot." Lorraine looked at me like I was an idiot. Then the bell went. "We'd better go through to assembly. Maybe you should just introduce yourself. Don't worry about being interesting." Stop there. So the head of Liam's new school thinks he is the teacher who is in charge of media studies. I wonder what's going to happen next.